Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I'm slowly putting my Juggernaut back together. I'd like to finally get it up and running. Also, I'd like to test out the differential that I designed for it. There are some things that are slowing me down from completing it. I bought the aluminum aftermarket version of the top portion that sandwiches the leaf springs to the axle. Um, Reason being, the stock plastic part are stress from the U-bolts. The U-bolts go over this channel right here, and from pulling down on it, it's starting to stress it out and starting to sever it. Ideally, I would just replace the plastic piece, but the aluminum version is not quite machined accurately, like exact representation of the plastic part, so they don't quite fit to the bottom half of it. Let me show you guys real quick what I'm talking about. The leaf spring would normally go in here like this. Top piece would go up on here, and if you look, I'm pushing on each side. There's no rocking or anything because they're obviously designed from the factory that way. And the aftermarket aluminum piece, it's not quite machined accurately uh, of its plastic counterpart. So just something to think about for those who want to get the aluminum version of this. So initially I was gonna file, I already started filing this one. I was gonna file it to shape, basically, to get it as close to the original. But then I thought, when I was when I started filing this, I thought about getting the aluminum version of this. But when I was looking online, uh, the aluminum version didn't have this cup where the rivet for the leaf spring, it cups the basically cups the leaf spring and prevents the leaf spring from sliding, back and forth. The the aluminum version, basically, like I'm saying, didn't have the cup, so basically the leaf string would slide back and forth in there. This plastic version also has that cup, but this one's worn out. That's kind of like the other reason I wanted to replace it. You guys see that thing's kind of worn out, and that's supposed to cup this the leaf spring, but you see it's sliding a little bit. Actually, it could slide completely because the thing's so worn out. The aluminum um, one still catches it, so it's kind of like the good thing that I like about the aluminum one. So that's kind of like what my issue is right now. It's like, should I just file this down to basically not have the rocking, like the stock one, no rock. But this one slides, so that's the issue with this one. Also, I before I start putting this, I was trying to reach for this. I want to blacken the aluminum parts. So I have aluminum parts for the Juggernaut. As you can see, the steering knuckles are aluminum. I want to blacken those. The my claw buster also has aluminum steering knuckles, and the axle tubes. I had bought the aluminum axle tubes, so I want to use this sparingly so I could blacken all that stuff. I As you can see, I put together the axle to basically demonstrate the differential that I designed for it. 3D printed it. It seems to work. Um, Normally, like you could, one wheel would be free spinning if you stop one. Um, this one is giving it some resistance. This one only has the 60,000 CST uh, silicone differential fluid in it. I'm dragging in my low CLMT in here to demonstrate what a supposedly 100,000 CST should feel like. So I bought this secondhand. So if the original owner of this didn't change the fluid and it's still the 100,000 CST, it's supposed to be 100,000 CST in the axles, and then 500,000 CST in the center diff. If you guys look, I could freely spin the all the wheels basically, but that's because it doesn't have the motor in it. I'm pretty sure it'd be a different story if it had a motor in it. But that's compared to comparing the Juggernaut to this. This definitely has a lot more resistance than the 60,000 CST. Yeah, this I could easily turn this. So I was wondering if I should have put the 80,000 diff fluid in here, but then again, I got to thinking, I think the 60,000 is good enough. I'm gonna dial down on the Juggernaut. I don't wanna break it again, so I'm just gonna. I think the 60,000, like I said, is good enough, fine enough to basically give it enough limited slip, and I'm gonna go down to 2S lipo battery instead of the 3S that I've had before. So from 11.1 volts to 7.4 volts um, battery for the Juggernaut. Um, the I think I'm just gonna go with a 3S lipo for the low C LMT. Basically, the battery from my Juggernaut is gonna go to the low C. So real quick, this is how the differential go together. I don't know if the camera was gonna catch this, but there's actually O-rings in the channel in there. I think see if I can take a take a picture of it and then just post it here. I put the markings on here because unfortunately this is not, although it's 3D printed, you'd think it'd be, printed perfectly, and it's not. So I put the markings is for basically because there's 3 screws there. So there's basically 3 phases that I could put this together. This phase has the least amount of wobble uh, when it's put together this way. So the O-ring, basically, you guys see there's a little bit of a lip right there, and also on this side there's a little bit of lip. The O-ring basically goes in the channel that these two creates. So let me put this one together real quick. Oh, I used a threaded brass inserts to make the thread, basically make it thread stronger in there. And I'm gonna spin this to those spots. I'm not gonna screw them in all the way. I'm gonna give it a little bit of space for the or before I slip in the O-ring. But I don't want it to have too much of a gap that the O-ring will slip into the crack. So that's probably good enough right there. So now I have the 2 halves together. Oh, real quick. So when obviously when I'm putting the diff fluid in there, I would put it in this half first, put the diff fluid in there, and then put the 2 halves together, and then I'll add more through the top over here. So that's what I did for the diff that's in here. So, but let me put this one together real quick. So that's now that it's kind of together. There's still a little bit you guys can hear it. There's basically a little bit of room there, wiggle room. Now I can slip the O-ring into the channel, play with it a little bit until it's in the groove, just like that. And then, I mean, it'd be a little bit different once you're filling this up with once I'm filling this up with the diff fluid. So it'll be one of the axle shaft will be you know in place. I'm pouring in there, put the top half, and then basically I'm slipping the O-ring from the bottom up. So, but I'm just showing it this way as a demo, and then I get to tighten. I'll try to tighten them in a kind of like a star pattern. Try to gauge it. Maybe basically like that, and then I'll have a stand, and I'll pour the more diff fluid in there, and then let it settle. I can kind of peek in there how much diff fluid is in there, and then add more if I need to. So for this one, I kind of for this the one that's in here, I kind of overfilled, and I had to basically turn it upside down to kind of let the some of the fluid come out. But it was it was tipped upside down for like 2 hours. It's still nothing was coming out, so I had to basically just poke it out with toothpick, and then to get some of that fluid back out. I could tell that I overfilled it because when I was trying to put the other shaft on the top part, I was trying to put it wouldn't go in because it was like doing like a hydraulic lock on me. So yeah, that's I got some decisions to make before I could really put my Juggernaut together. And I know it's like seems like it's just like a simple decision to make, but um, I want to make the right choice, and but I have a I also have an added bonus for you guys. So, like I said, I've been working on the micro lathe that I had. Basically, it'll help me turn some steering links and suspension links and some things that I need to turn. So this is right now. It's just a prototype. I changed out the chuck. The shaft unfortunately is just 3D printed. I'm designing the shaft for it, so it's just 3D printed right now. I'm just trying to see what size I need. So this has a 14 millimeter hole in there. This is 17 mil out here. Um, so if it's made out of, I don't know, I was gonna get it made out of tool steel, and that should be strong enough. So I want to show how this is gonna go right now. I mean, this is gonna wobble like because of the shaft is just made out of plastic, and it can't hold the weight of the chuck. The chuck is pretty heavy compared to the stock chuck that was in there. So, but it gives it a little bit of a torque because of the weight of the chuck. It'll give the the motor a little bit of a torque to basically turn whatever material that's chucked up in there. I'm still planning on. So this one is still the brushed motor in there, and I did look at it. It does have ball bearing instead of just brass bushings, um, and but I still want to use a brushless motor just to give it more torque to, especially to be able to turn something. This is about I think 3 pounds, which is probably a lot for that motor. Yeah, a lot of vibration. So But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to slowly, like I said, put my Juggernaut back together, and then hopefully get that done, and then show that. Hopefully next maybe work on the low C. This one I have a lot of I've purchased parts for it little by little already. Uh, there were just some things that was wrong with this when I purchased it, so I'll cover that when it's time to build this truck. But that's all for now, and I hope you guys are liking these kind of content. And if you do, please share my videos. Thank you for watching.